The Kneeling Christian, Hendrickson Christian Classics Edition. Preface. Imagine a best-selling book whose author has no name. Consider the publisher's quandary. No high-profile author with his own media empire. No big-bucks marketing budget. No author tour. No magazine covers. No interviews. Nothing. Nothing but a great book that people like. A book that changes lives. A book they tell their friends about. That is this book. In stark contrast to the cult of celebrity that surrounds books published today, The Kneeling Christian is ascribed simply to Anonymous, or an unknown Christian. No name and few clues. Most readers never know anything about the author of this international bestseller, a slim primer on the life of prayer. Based on the book itself, as it was originally published, we know little about the author of this classic from the early 20th century. The book itself reveals a few facts. The author seems to be male, British, Anglican, and writing at a mature age. The book was written between the two world wars in the 1920s or early 30s. The author doesn't mention a spouse or family life. He is well versed in scripture and in religious biography and devotional literature. He seems to be in the know in terms of contemporary religious personage. His preface says, "This book was written by request." But based on the text, it's not clear that he is a cleric. In fact, the records of the British Library tell us that the unknown Christian was an Anglican clergyman named Albert Ernest Richardson, who was born around 1868. He was educated at the University of Oxford, ordained as a priest in 1897, and in 1898 he was accepted as a missionary and left for the Hausaland mission in Africa. Hausaland straddled today's nations of Nigeria and Niger. He returned to England in 1900, only to turn around in 1903 and go out again, this time to serve in Bombay, India, until 1905. Following his return from India, Richardson's passion for evangelism was channeled into his career with the Church Army, a society of evangelists with the Anglican Communion. Then he began publishing his writings in 1921. The Kneeling Christian was his second book. The Kneeling Christian welcomes novice and veteran Christian alike to answer God's invitation into the life of prayer. The disciples asked Jesus, "Lord, teach us to pray." So do we as well. The author understands and addresses our fears and concerns, encouraging us to embrace wholeheartedly the instructions of Jesus. If you believe, you will receive whatever you ask for in prayer. And with such encouragement, with such a warm welcome, can we resist? The author punctuates his teaching with memorable wisdom, such as, "We are never so high as when we are on our knees. If we ask and God does not give, then the fault is with us. True prayer never goes unanswered." But these bold statements shouldn't be taken out of context of the whole work, in which the author explores Scripture, including a compelling discussion of Jesus' sevenfold invitation to pray, found in John 14-16. He draws the reader along with engaging anecdotes set in broad international settings, revealing a passion for missions and evangelism and the intercessory prayer that is the foundation for effective ministry. The result is a tender and loving invitation into a living and vital relationship with the living God, an invitation to prayer issued to us throughout Scripture and the ages by God Himself. The Kneeling Christian closes with this challenge. Prayer is our highest privilege, our gravest responsibility, and the greatest power God has put into our hands. Prayer, real prayer, is the noblest, the sublimest, the most stupendous act that any creature of God can perform. May we all enter into the joy of prayer. Author's Preface. A traveler in China visited a heathen temple on a great feast day. Many were the worshippers of the hideous idol enclosed in a sacred shrine. The visitor noticed that most of the devotees brought with them small pieces of paper on which prayers had been written or printed. These they would
Sample complete. Ready to continue?